All right, everybody, welcome to the Ginge Pedro Show, episode 7. I'm, of course, Ginge, and alongside me is my boy Pedro.
And my coffee.
And his coffee. Yes, and of course, we got with us today Spencer Desmond of Death Curse Studios, Alterna Comics, Voidwalker, Can't Kill Cade, he's got his coffee. I didn't get any coffee today.
I'm absolutely out of my mind on coffee right now. This is like my fourth cup.
Yeah, Kayla should probably be joining us here shortly, but until then, we'll hang out and chat with Spencer.
Mm-hmm. That we can manage that.
Yeah, I can talk plenty.
So Spencer,
yes,
yeah, bro. Let's kind of start from the beginning here. That old chestnut. What was your intro into comics, bro? What was some of the things you grew up reading?
Intro into comics is really hard. I'm just trying to tweet this out really quick. Sorry.
Here we go.
Yeah, right. The old man mode. We got that out of the way. Yeah, intro into comics. The first thing I was ever super big into, I've talked a little bit about before, but I'd probably say like the Jim Lee Ghost Rider.
Sweet.
I can't remember exactly where I picked it up. I think I got my first issue at like a grocery store in town. Where like back in the day they were all over the place in grocery stores. There was like a spinner rack in like basically the checkout registers, and then normally like in the book aisle there'd be a spinner rack too. But I believe it was Jim Lee's Ghost Rider. I think it might have actually been the first issue. And that got me really hooked on just Marvel stuff in general. I've always been more, when it came to big two, I was more leaning on Marvel than DC. I know a fair amount about Batman and stuff like that, but there's so many like blind spots and just gaps in knowledge in DC going back even to my childhood, just because other than Batman, nothing really stood out to me. And DC in the 90s was also still hitting that like very much a house style on model sort of production type, where Marvel seemed more open at least to like different creators, interpretations of characters and things like that. So you got a lot of different guys, and I was getting to read all the old Todd McFarlane stuff once I got into a shop and had like a shop owner pointing me in the direction of things. I found stuff like Spawn, and he basically saw that I liked like the horror elements of Ghost Rider and stuff like that, because I grew up watching horror movies with my dad from a very young age. And essentially was like, yeah, if you like that, you're going to love stuff like this. He showed me Spawn. He's like, when you get a little older, he told me about, was it Faust? And fucking showed me a little bit of that and stuff. But like Ghost Rider and Spawn were the ones early on that cemented like, oh, hell yeah, I love this. And then I started to see more of the Golden Age stuff and the heroes just being heroic and like good and being a peak to strive for sort of thing, instead of just these like grim dark heroes that I enjoyed. I enjoy a lot of that too, but I got hooked in that era of like, I always call it the Image Muscle era, when everything was just like, everything was on roids. The guns were on roids. The fucking the costumes were on roids. Like everything looked like it could strangle you to death. And
the amount of teeth. That's also
there
was extra teeth.
Yeah, everyone, dude. That's why like you can see it in my art, and I'm constantly fighting it when I'm just like rough sketching on the channel, and especially when I've had a couple of drinks, you'll see the like image influence come out, where like. My understanding of anatomy comes from a mashup of all those fucking dudes completely fudging things. And my kid brain didn't see that they were like making shit up as they went to hit a deadline. I had no like concept for that back then. So it was like, oh my God, these guys are the pinnacle of art in my brain. So they've got to be doing it right. And like I still every once in a while draw a head a little too tall, which I think comes from staring at Eric Larson art. I was a big fan of Savage Dragon early on. I still think the first like 25, 30 issues of that are like absolute perfection. Some of the most fun you will have reading just a run of comics. I heard it gets really horny after that. I don't know. I found girls and stuff like that, and sort of lost touch with comics for a good 10-year span. Got lucky enough to meet a girl like Beth who basically like allowed me to do the nerdy shit I love doing and take a big chance. But Ghost Rider was probably my first step into it, and then I just started finding all sorts of stuff. And I was already at like 8-9 years old. I was watching all sorts of weird anime and shit because I had an older brother who was into that stuff and kids in the neighborhood who had really cool parents that were into that kind of stuff. We had a close friend who they were like first generation Puerto Rican, learned English when they came over here, and they didn't have a lot of friends, and we were like the poor white people in the neighborhood, so we like super didn't fit in where we lived, and like we were the minority growing up for a while, and we made friends with this family across the street, and his stepdad, German, just had like Akira, Ninja Scroll, all this insane shit on VHS that like you couldn't even find in stores at the time. Like he had gotten this shit in like 95 and stuff when like if you could get it, it was like mail order and stuff like that. I think Amazon might have been in its infancy at that point, but it was a very weird website. And then there's places like Media Play into like 2000 and stuff like that started holding that on DVD and everything. But again, we were so poor, like DVDs back then were like $40-$50. That would be the one thing I got all year that wasn't Christmas, and that would be me saving up my own money kind of thing. But
let's welcome Kayla to the show. Hi, Kayla.
What's up, Kayla?
I was like, whatever you ask him, he's
never
gonna talk for 30 minutes.
Yes.
No,
I'm stalling for you.
Yeah, the thing with anime in Latin America, and I assume his name was Herman, not German, right? Yeah. Okay. The thing with Latin America and anime is that we don't really produce our own entertainment here. So importing anime saved the childhood of everybody down here. Yeah. And there's a lot of bootleg. Did you see Akira in Spanish? That's my question.
No, he did have a Japanese dub of most of the stuff. I think the only one he had in Spanish was a really weird one.
He had to have Dragon Ball Z. I'm sorry. Dragon Ball.
I saw
fucking number one.
I'm sorry. The Broly shit everybody was freaking out about a couple of years ago. I saw that in Japanese when I was like 7 years old, and I was like,
no,
hang on,
they did a new Broly. That's why they freaked out about it. They changed
but like the Dragon Ball GT stuff was getting dubbed before that came out, and people were like freaking out that like Broly was a part of the English dub stuff. Now I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and that then the Broly movie came out, and there was a bunch of controversy with that. But like hearing that the Broly shit I saw when I was a kid, where he goes like, I don't know, like Super Saiyan 6 or some shit, and gets like a fucking mullet down to his feet.
Yeah, it was Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah, that. I'm like my kid brain was like, God damn, there's another one. Like it never ceased to blow my mind. Then I turned like 16. And I was like, how did I like lose my mind about this all the time? And it's just you start to understand the brilliance of like it's almost like the understanding of power creep in card games and in gaming and stuff like that. Yeah. Like they're just sort of like the stakes are that they're always raising everyone's power level and shit is always going up to the next bonkers level. And so when you leave it as like, oh yeah, there's power levels that the fans can get behind and understand, but then also there's sort of no real limiter on those power levels. You can go anywhere with it and get absolutely ridiculous with it. And that's what they did over like, was it been like 40 years now? Something insane? Like
around.
Yeah, it's been going since like the 80s.
Another series you guys got shafted on because it got highly edited in America was Saint Seiya.
I heard of that.
Yeah, like you only had like
I don't think I've ever seen that
60 episodes. Dude, if you want to talk about power levels and stakes, dude, those guys were dying at the end of every episode. Just breathing out like
trying to think of the Spanish dub one. Is Blue Gender the one that was like a Starship Troopers knockoff? Or is that something else?
Blue Gender, yeah. They kind of had they kind of had like robot type things with bug animal or bug monsters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that might have been it. When did this?
Yeah,
Blue Gender was pretty good.
But then again, we're not here to talk about anime. We're here to talk about the fact that I'm a huge fan of your work, sir.
Oh, shucks.
Let me just say. Thank you. Yeah.
All the way down in Panama, I cannot tell you how amazing that feels.
Spencer's head is gonna explode.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's always wacky.
And I'm very keen on watching what Death Curse as a brand is doing, because you guys are just encompassing. And I was telling this to Ginge a couple of minutes back, like the whole like punk rock grunge thing, do it yourself thing. You guys are encompassing that because you're going beyond comics. You're doing scripts. You want to do films. You want to do animation. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Oh later. Yeah, no, we can talk about it. I was telling you guys, if you want to show off the logo today, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, and dude, I'm just amazed and really expecting to see what's going to come up out of you guys. I mean, I'm paying attention to a lot of people because the whole Comics Gate and indie thing seems to be exploding. But I don't know, like you guys are a team. That's you're always Kayla. There's you. Sometimes it's like Ryan Wynn. So it's kind of like an alternate thing. I don't know if I'm right saying that. But
we're more. The easiest way to describe it right now is we're like a digital studio. We're Image Online. Awesome. Where Image was more so just the face of those, like, what was it, like main 6-7 dudes. There's some other guys, and it's cycled in and out. It's not what it was back then, but it's very much just like a collective of people. There's more people involved, less involved or more involved than you can see right now, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't talk about, because now that everyone's included and it's a very democratic process, I've been better about keeping my mouth shut about a lot of shit. So the stuff you guys hear about, like on the Patreon and shit like that, is all and on our channel is a lot of mostly the direct stuff I'm working on, like the books with Jeff and everything like that. But there's other books that I'm not even writing on that you'll see writers that are familiar faces. Kayla's doing her debut book soon. We've been working on that for a really long time, from kicking ideas back and forth like almost a year and a half ago all the way up to now, to where the script is almost ready. There's already an artist locked in. Some people have seen the first cover. It's a lot of fun. It's a horror Western. Won't get into it now because we could talk for an hour about that.
Yeah, Spencer, just show the cleavage. We don't need to.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's mostly just like it's a collective of artists and writers, editors, creators all around. We're just trying to have fun, tell stories that we enjoy. I'm a pretty versatile dude. I get around a lot. I've done a lot of things in the 31 years I've been on this earth. So I try to branch out and do different shit. We're talking with the Headshot guys, which we've had on the channel before. We did the auction with them, and I'm sure you guys have seen some of their stuff. That's where I sort of started branching out into film, and I made contact with a pretty big studio that everybody's probably going to shit if the deal goes through with, because I'll say I know the CG fandom is very big with this studio, and one of the ladies that this studio has teamed up with recently. And I'm not going to elaborate past there, but
you just gave it away.
Yeah,
I didn't say anything breaching any sort of agreements.
Yeah, that's how real that.
Think all you want with that.
Spencer is the kind of person that will text you at 3 a.m. in the morning with, "Hey, I have this idea. This, that, and the third. Oh, and look, I drew a sketch here of some art that I think is going to go with this crazy idea. What do you think about this?"
That's how writing starts.
Here is this.
You get an idea, you extrapolate from there.
Like it's always around like 3 o'clock in the morning. He's up like,
Yeah.
so it's like you work with Spencer, be prepared for him to hit you up all hours of the night.
Yeah,
Luckily,
I feel bad. I keep
vampire.
forgetting Pedro's in Panama, and I like he's an hour. What? You're behind me, right? You're Central Time, so yeah. I'm like every time I text him, I'm like, wait. The worst is Carl, man. Carl Oro gets it the worst from me. He's like, dude, it's fucking like 3 a.m. Like,
yeah,
Spencer, what are you talking about?
You have to take into account that you're a youngin, man. You're 31.
Oh, yeah. I forget all the time because I've aged myself 60 years with all the dumb shit I've done. But I'm like the baby of the operation, which is insane.
I'm 47, baby. Like I'm on my way out.
I feel like I look 10 times older than you, man.
I have a lot of orange juice.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, I'm 47 and I feel it. Like I have to be in bed by 11. Unless I'm destroyed the next day. But
tonight's gonna be a night like that for me, man. You guys got me up at 8 this morning to be. It's something about like I can't wake up at
8. It's 11.
No, I know, but I can't wake up at like weird hours. It's either like 6 in the morning or I'm waking up at 2 in the afternoon because I was up till sunrise. But nice. I set an alarm for 10. I woke up at 8 like a robot. Someone just said my trigger word and I sprang up. I was like, all right, well, the day started. So I got up and wrote for a little bit. I might have actually texted Kayla an idea right before we went live. I don't remember. I was talking to Ginge a little bit about it. Pretty
sure you did, but I was driving, so I didn't answer.
Yeah. That damn Malignant movie came out, and I was like, well, all Giallo ideas on deck, man.
Last night you were talking about, you got to watch this movie.
I had all these Giallo ideas. We talk about them on the channel all the time. You guys know I'm a big Giallo boy. And that movie wasn't really a Giallo. It was kind of weird, but it was a good time. Everybody go check that out.
Nice.
Yeah, I watched Malignant last night, actually. Hey, Jay. Say hello to the chat real quick. We got Jake Twister, Past Master Dan.
Past Master Dan is my dude, man.
Yeah,
and I think he's old. And I think he's older than I am, which is something I appreciate.
Past Master Dan is like a real OG.
Yeah,
I've been chatting it up with that man for a long time in a lot of different streams.
Morning, Jay.
I don't know if he's ever seen my face. Yeah, thanks for having us on, by the way, too. I'm
dude, that's
not a guest places very often.
It's my pleasure to have you guys in here because I said, like, I'm really paying attention to what you guys are doing and just like having this hour to pick your brain and see what's up. It's just a dream come true for me, man. So thank you both.
So yeah,
Kayla, you're doing a lot of writing too, right?
I'm always writing.
Yeah, so can you please just elaborate on that?
I have so many ideas, but before I show anything to Spencer, I want to perfect it because Spencer is
because I break it apart.
Yeah, everything that I do, any idea, like he comes down on me so hard. It's like the hammer of the gods. So I have a ton of things I'm actually writing and working on. I will say that everyone says, oh, comic writing is easy if you're a writer. Now I'm someone I published in college, for writing.
Yeah, Kayla's like a real writer.
But I don't want to write novels. That's the whole thing. I don't want to write novels.
And I don't make enough money to just pay her to write novelizations of all of our shit.
I don't want to write novels. I want to do comics. That's what it is. I think it's a lot harder for me because I also don't have artistic talent. So a lot of people, I'm sorry, but there are a lot of artists out there that write a book and the writing in the book is not great. The art is great, but the book itself is not that great writing wise.
Yeah.
And I got into comics. I was attracted to the art, but I was reading what my father read. So I was reading Chris Claremont stuff early on, things that were really well written. So the writing is just a huge factor for me and what will draw me to things. It's, people can say what they want about Gaiman. I know people don't like him because of some of his decisions, but I'm able to separate his work away from him as a person.
Say whatever you want about Gaiman.
Yeah.
I like Gaiman. I like his writing style. He was always,
Gaiman are great.
Yeah, the thing is, I have to accept that I read.
Feel good. I don't even feel good at all today.
Yeah, the thing is, I have to accept I read Gaiman because I want to get in with a goth chick, and I couldn't do that with Heroes for Hire or
I haven't read a ton of his stuff.
Look at me. I'm reading Sandman. I don't know how deep I am.
I know.
Well, not even. Didn't
Sandman. He write it?
I mean,
wasn't
Stardust.
He?
There's a lot. There's a lot
of them. Yeah.
Wasn't he one of the guest writers early on Spawn? I remember. I'm pretty sure I saw his name, but I don't remember what issue he did.
I actually think so.
Yeah, there's a lot for a character.
Alan Moore, one of my favorite things Moore ever wrote is a Spawn issue.
Yes. Swamp Thing.
But yeah, I think Gaiman did a Spawn one too, and I cannot remember for the life of me which one it is now, which is weird because that again, I feel like all those Image books, if you read like the first like 20 issues or whatever, it's fantastic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I have the first. This is an original Image, but I have the first hardcover of Haunt coming in today. Excited to read through that again.
Yeah.
So it says Neil Gaiman says Neil Gaiman is credited as the co-creator of Castiglio. Right? Well, Castiglio, I think I'm pronouncing that probably wrong, but then also Medieval Spawn, which were designed by Todd McFarlane, but I guess maybe Neil was the original writer on Medieval Spawn.
Yeah.
I thought he was the guy who did Angela too. I thought he was wrapped up in that whole controversy and like legal battle. That's why Angela is like a character in was it like DC too or Marvel, something like that? One of them also owns her.
Yeah. I think DC owns.
It's confusing as shit because everyone in comics hates everyone in reality. That's the whole thing. Is like all the fake performative friendship bullshit. Like in the mainstream.
I worked a con and I legit wore an EVS shirt to the con.
Yeah, and that was hilarious. Said a goddamn thing.
No one said anything to me. No one. None of the people that I know that work shows. No one said a thing to me. None of the creators I know. None of the artists that I know. I mean, I'm not going to name people, dox people, but I know a lot of people from working shows.
It's all performative. It just gets people talking about your shit on social media and sharing your name out there.
But I believe it.
So the people that hate CG see more of these people hating on CG and see more of their name, and they're like, oh, that person's popular. And the same thing goes for the CG side, is the more vocal you are, the more people hear you. It's just how it goes.
You know, and I will say, when EVS says that you don't know who I talk to, I fucking believe the man. No. I believe the man 100%. So I believe what he's saying. Because
like 2 years ago, if you went to cons, like there was plenty of talk about it, and there were plenty of people on his side that are out and about now, and I'm sure there's more to come. Like, you guys don't really see the full picture if you're not like meeting up at cons and actually talking with people, but there's like a real world outside of Twitter where shit still exists every day and continues to happen.
And let me tell you, and working cons is a lot different than attending cons, I will say. And I've worked press, I've worked assisting, I've worked with artists, local artists, I've worked with cosplayers.
There's a lot of comic creators that forget that me and Kayla have met them a bunch.
I've worked as vendors. I've worked almost every aspect, just with security.
I hear you guys speak about cons, and I'm so jealous. Because down here, we don't have that. Like,
all right, we're gonna send you up here.
Yeah, like people try to do cons here, but it's just like
we'll be smuggling a lot of foreigners into this country.
We gotta get Pedro up here, and then we'll get also Pedro. We have to also
El Padrino.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Right, I'm so bad with geography. I'm like, we'd get Bolivians sent to Panama, and then Panama and Bolivian up to America.
Yeah, but Bolivia's in South America.
Lower, right? Yeah, I'm not losing my mind.
I mean, we're called Central American, but we're really not. Because if you met a Costa Rican or someone from
speak of the devil.
We just talked about we were going to smuggle you in here with Pedro.
We invoked him. dude, that kid's going places, man. Like I've never seen like a meteoric improvement in craftsmanship I've seen with this kid. Like he's putting all of us into shame.
Can I tell you? I
got a
saw
script
his
for
work.
him at Death Curse too.
I literally saw Pedrino's work. I go to Spencer. You better be doing something with him, and he's, you know, I
didn't I send you a page back already?
Oh yeah, I've already seen what's going to happen. But before that, before anything, you know, I was like, we got to do something with him. I'm like, I don't know what it is, because he used to just come and do like the draw streams that we were doing and just draw a bunch of stuff. And
yeah, when you texted me about that, you texted me about that, he had already done a page for us for the Patreon.
Nice.
It just hasn't been posted yet, but he did a little thing for us that was like a primer to something coming.
Yeah, right when I got on Twitter, I was like stalking Pedrino's artwork. So, I mean, I'm like, he's that fucking good. I have a great eye for art too.
And that's how you do business.
They literally say I'm like an art Nazi. That's what I've been called, because I will find everything wrong with every piece of art. I have learned now to keep my mouth shut, but if you come to me and you want my opinion on your artwork, be prepared for me to give you an honest opinion. I'm going to tell you if I think your proportion is off. I'm going to tell you that you drew one eye bigger than the other eye, even if no one else noticed it and I did. I am going to tell you that you need to shade an area, that you need to highlight an area, or I'm going to tell you like straight out that it sucks.
Yeah, if it's a stylistic choice, she is gonna put you to the wall and make you justify it with reason. Like, she can work with different. That's the whole thing. Like, probably a year or two back now, we talked about it at one point, but we just couldn't not even come to an agreement on our end. It was just, we considered doing sort of an editorial thing where we'd start offering our services, helping other books and stuff, with me more focused on the helping with like writing editorial and her helping with the art end of things and writing, because she does have a keen eye for that and stuff, and will, you know, break you down and build you back up better. And, you know, she can
how to walk you through it.
Yeah, and she can tell you where you're doing something wrong, and then actually point you in the direction of like materials to learn more about it, like good books on anatomy and shit like that, just from all the experience she has speaking with artists and stuff like that. And so we had considered it for a while, but we were like, if we do this, people are essentially paying us to then hate us in the long run, and it'll basically be like a one-off, because it's like, I'm gonna break your story. Like that is literally my job, is to find the cracks in it and build it back up for you, and not adulterate like your idea at the end of the day. And that's the problem, is there's too many editors trying to inject their own ideas and not just try to help someone tell a better story. It's like, at the end of the day, like, say what you want about Voidwalker or Can't Kill Cade, they're not like the craziest, highest concept thing in the world, but I tried to make it a fucking tight story that had a beginning and middle and end to it, because we didn't know we were going to have a future after those 4 issues, and it was something that we wanted to keep the pages turning and get people to actually want to come back for the next issue. And pretty much every issue did better than the last one. We're hoping to continue that with the future. But
Voidwalker is tight. Like,
we tricked everybody into thinking it was just a one-dimensional action book. There's a lot more going on there, but
it's a tight book, dude. Like, because I've heard like people saying like, well, this looks a lot like Spawn. Like, it's not Spawn, baby.
Not anything even close to it.
It doesn't play out like Spawn.
Yeah, at all.
Keep thinking they're demons.
They didn't read Spawn then.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, dude, you're completely wrong. Like, I read Spawn and I got up to like issue 12 back in the 90s. I mean, it was really hard to get image books. And
Spawn is a love story.
Yeah, exactly. It's wonder. I was like, dude, we already have novellas for that. You know what I mean? Like soap operas. They're really big down in Latin America. So that's one of the things that really got me about Spawn.
that was one of the
not that.
That was one of the big things too early on when I pitched it to Pete. Was like, what makes this different from Spawn? And I was like, well, Spawn is a love story, and this isn't that. It was like, maybe someday down the road, Parker will, develop a love interest if I can. I think I can organically fit that into the world. But it honestly, it doesn't need it, and that's my whole thing. Is like, I'm taking the tropes and trappings of old comics that I like, but instead of just mashing it all into every series that I do, I'm taking what I think works. It's like, not every book needs a romantic interest. Kayla knows, we've talked a bunch about it. You want to see a lot more diversity in storytelling and stuff. That's coming in Hellseekers big time. There's so much going on there. The easiest way I can describe that is like our X-Men, and it's got a lot going on, including Kayla writing on it. We're hoping to get some other writers. I've been harassing Aaron Sparrow for a really long time because I want to get him on some issues. We got a lot of awesome guest artists lined up for inventory issues, basically planning to do 4 to 8 with Jeff a year, and then maybe 1 or 2 with guest artists just for fun. They'd be one-off stories. A lot of the stories sort of fit into a collected world and story that's always moving forward. But we're writing them more like an old school comic where each issue is supposed to be like a standalone story where you can just jump in on that one issue, read it, have a good time. And, maybe you don't read every issue that year, or you don't come back to it ever again, but you enjoyed that one story. And then if you do decide to come back to it at any point, there's a bunch of other ones along the way.
Yes. Like I said, like if you look for relationships in Voidwalker, maybe like growing up fatherless is even more so important than like our romantic line.
It's a story about fathers and sons.
Exactly.
Is the easiest way to describe that. And when I said that to Peter, he was like, "What?" And Cade's all about finding yourself.
Dude, and the thing is, like, English is my second language, and I picked it up. So, good job, sir.
Means the world to me, man. Like that it translates, and like I have a lot of lots of thanks go to Christian on that. Is just because his visual storytelling is amazing.
Dude.
He knocks it out of the park. When every review I've seen of it on YouTube, I don't go out of my way to look for him, but if you want to tag me in your review, I love that. Don't ever feel bad about it. Even if it's a bad review, I want to see that too. I'm not going to hate people for it. That almost gives me better perspective on not where to go with it in the future, but what to think about and reflect on. And is it is it a matter of what I was trying to convey not translating, and is that on my end, or is it just one reader that isn't getting it, sort of thing? And that's that. Every bit of perspective always helps me better flesh out my own perspective. I don't really know where I was going with that now. That loud noise completely threw me off. Sound like a train driving by.
Spencer's neurodivergent.
Yeah, that's right. That's cute for autistic. What I was saying was, Christian is great because every one of the reviews I've seen, Pedrino threw me back on track. I don't know. The kid just gets me. Everyone picks out that panel from the last issue of what we always have just referred to as King Voidwalker. It's not like a royalty thing or anything. It was just like the cape and everything. And that was I think in the script, I describe it as his tentacles draping down and everything. But I never say it's this regal moment or anything, or if it's even supposed to be very that's the fucking panel of the series.
But that's what good art is supposed to convey.
Almost every review is just
message without words.
And that's the moment where he's Voidwalker now. Sure, he claims the title earlier and everything, but that's where it solidifies this guy knows his purpose now. He's broken free from bondage and found his own being, his purpose now. And that's that moment.
That's the job of an artist, man. To me, that's the job of an artist. Is a proper good artist will take what the writer gives him and just expand on it without contaminating the story with his thoughts. This is like, okay, this is what I got. Now, what do I see? I'm the visual representation of what's written on paper. And the things that you were talking a couple of minutes back about, like how people are really like not keen on getting criticized on their story, and it's all about ego. Like as an artist, like yeah, I bring things to the table, but I am a tool in a process.
Yep.
As is the writer, as is the letterer, as is everyone involved. Like we're in the tool in the process of making a great story. But if you have like this need to be seen, which is one of the reasons, like I think Twitter has become so prevalent in mainstream artists. Like I need to be seen. Okay, I'm getting called.
I thought that was a bicycle.
No,
it's that train conductor who drove by before.
I'm 47.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's my ringer.
Yeah, he wasn't sure if that was a real phone call.
Bicycle.
Yeah, it's a bicycle ringer.
I literally thought it was like a bicycle.
It's a hamburger phone.
Yeah. So yeah, dude, like that. What I mean is that this need to be seen has to stop.
Yeah. Well, ego is like everyone's biggest enemy.
Yeah.
I lucked out in you guys have been in chats and stuff. You know the story, but like I had a bad car accident. Essentially, like probably should have died and didn't. Went through a really rough time for a while, and you sort of after you have something like that happen. A real traumatic experience, you either sort of shut down or you find a better perspective on things and realize that shit could be a whole lot worse or just could not be anymore at any moment. So after all that happened, I was just like, well, I'm gonna just try doing comics because even if I fucking suck at it, the worst that happens is people are like, this sucks, and I don't do comics anymore, but I can say I tried, and that's kind of where I'm at with film now. And like I was like, screw it. I found contact information thanks to some friends out west. Was able to find the contact information to that studio. Sent them a dead drop email with just like a log line for a script that didn't exist. I think I told you guys a little bit about this, but like it's all about just taking shots. And if you sort of check your ego and stop thinking about it, it's almost freeing because there's the upside to ego where you think you're awesome and everything, and that confidence can really help in a pitch or whatever. But you're almost more confident when you don't have an ego at all, and you're like, this could go completely tits up, horribly wrong, and I'm still going to be fine at the end because you don't have that like valuation that you're awesome or anything. Is like, I'm still like, I still got me after all of this, even if I fuck it up completely. And there's always the next one. That doesn't mean you shouldn't like try to make everything the best you can possibly make it. But if you go into it thinking you're awesome and thinking that you're owed something, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be crushed and defeated when you walk out the door of any pitch. Like I can tell you, I didn't expect to even get an email back from those guys. And I basically was like ready to punch a hole in the wall. I was so giddy when they emailed me back like 3 hours later. And then the next email I got was from the owner of the company that was straight up like, I don't give a shit that you don't have a manager or an agent. We want to see this script. So I was like, holy shit. But like you have to just go for it. And I think not really having an ego kind of helps with that. I don't suggest a near-death experience to figure that out. But if you can figure out a way to sort of like check your ego at the door and just go, you also have a lot more fun when you're not like pretending to be something greater than you are. And that's also a lot more interesting. Your faults and your flaws are character. That's what makes good characters and stories. That's why I love meeting people. That's why 2 years in COVID quarantine has been stressful because I can't just get out and like autistically absorb the world around me and how people talk and interact with each other. I love going to the city and just hanging out and fucking meeting up with strangers. Like, it's a weird world we're living in now, but
yeah, you make me think of a service like controlled near-death experiences to get rid of your ego.
Yeah, they do that on there's an old like special ops group that does those like controlled drownings and stuff like that, where it's car over a bridge and stuff like that. I've wanted to do stuff since before my accident. And the biggest thing is another thing. You have a bad experience like that, you kind of figure out if you're one of those people that like kicks into action when something bad happens. I had that happen at the around a week or two after that happened to me. My other roommate, who we had just moved out of places together and got our own places finally, he was driving home from work when an apartment building burst into flames, and he just said he got a weird feeling, jumped out of his car, ran to the side of the building, and a woman threw her like 1-year-old baby down to him. Wow. And he just caught the baby, and he's like, don't know what the hell it was, dude. He's like, I saw the building burst into flames and just like I was possessed by something. And he fucking ran to the exact spot he needed to be and caught that kid. And then the lady was able to climb down on her own. And fucking, it was like absolutely insane. Happened like we both had a fucking horribly insane experience, like pretty much back to back. And like he said the same thing, is like you have an experience like that, and just like finding that out about yourself is a really reaffirming thing. It's very weird, but it's like a clarity you can't give to anyone. Theory. Yeah, like
it's Eric Erickson. Now I have a background in psych and everything. He has a theory of psychosocial development, and basically it's people that undergo life crises that are largely based on social relationships, opportunities, and expectations. It's more of like I would say, there's nature versus nurture. It's a little bit of both within that theory. But there's also like in psychology, you find out that there are people that have suffered from traumatic brain injuries that it has altered actually parts of their brains. It has made them more creative. It has made them more able to adapt to situations.
I've been making that joke since my accident, because I mean I was a loud, like pretty obnoxious dude before my accident. I don't know if my accident made me more self-aware or just like aging and stuff like that. I'm still loud and obnoxious, which is why I'm probably not invited most places. But
you're always invited here, buddy.
Yeah, hitting my head, that was the one thing that happened with my accident. I hit my head really hard. But I never went out. I'm a big dude. I'm very hard to knock out, even if you're repeatedly punching me in the face. I know from experience. It's hard to put me to sleep for whatever reason. The driver of the car did go out, and when he woke up, he was in an absolute panic, basically the exact opposite. He's a close friend of mine, but that was like the two ends of the spectrum that night. And that's why I was like, knowing you're one of those guys, because I was never in military service or anything. I didn't go through any sort of training where they prepare you for that kind of shit. So it's like, I know I can handle myself in a fist fight or whatever, but someone pulls a gun on me, you don't know how you're going to react or anything. And I'm lucky enough to be one of those people where something else in my brain just takes over, and it's a weird thing. But that's why I'm like, that's why you see like there's way crazier videos online of people that are just real life superheroes. I'll tweet that shit out all the time. I don't really get sentimental, and I'm always trying to make people laugh, but you stuff like that, I'm like, more people need to be aware that it's a reality and it's not so hard to do something.
You're breaking up, Spencer.
Am I?
Yeah, you are. You are pixelated. You're going back to the
80s. My internet could be shitting out. It's not good.
It's getting sucked into the game.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like, if we're talking about experiences, my humbling experience were more macro, so I really couldn't do anything about them. But it got me to the same place. Like, dude, you're not that big a deal. Like the first one, I was 16. When the U.S. invaded Panama to take out Noriega, I was fully conscious, and I saw missiles flying over my house and like gunshot and whatnot. But I'm 16, and I don't really want to fight. I didn't really want to fight for the Panamanian government, because those guys were like drug dealers and crooks. Like, am I gonna lay down my life for those guys? So I was just like, okay, I have to just stay put and not call attention to ourselves and guard the neighborhood. And then my dad had the brilliant idea to send me to Colombia to law school in the middle of the Pablo Escobar war with the other drug dealers. So, yeah, there was like bombs going and out, seeing dead bodies everywhere. I mean,
when they just loved lawyers back then.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, like, that really humbled me in a sense. Like, dude, you're not king shit.
Yeah, and then you got people like me up here complaining about their problems, and like, I'm a white kid who was in a really bad car accident.
Yeah, dude. No, but the thing is, like, I'm 6'4", and in Latin America, I'm a fucking engineer from Aliens. Like, dude, everybody, it's like up to my elbow.
Yeah.
So I always felt I was larger than life until I saw the bullets flying. You know, when you see bullets flying and people like burn cars with people in them, then you know, like, dude, whatever you do, you're just a poop that draws. Oh, look at me draw. Yeah. You know,
I'm one of the brain damage that's like out smoking a cigarette in the middle of it. Like, why is everybody crying? Like, I don't know what it is.
So yeah, dude, like, getting rid of your ego is very important, because once your ego is out, the door opens to see who you really are, and in collaboration with people who really just want to see the product out, you're gonna see just great books, man. Like, I don't know if you guys have read Starlight Cats. I just got it, dude. Awesome book by Shane Davis and Yancey. Dude.
Yeah, cat book just didn't strike my fancy.
Exactly.
No offense to Shane, he's an amazing artist. The new one looks like, I was actually just talking to someone about it the other day. The new one looks like some shit. I would be like, yo, Shane, you should have hit me up about writing it.
Yeah, dude, the thing, I got Starlight Cats because I really love Shane's work.
MMA and monsters. Oh no, I totally get that. Like, if it's your thing, go for it, because the man's an amazing artist.
He's an amazing artist. But I read it and I was like, tearjerker. It's a tearjerker. Like, I love it. Yeah, like, oh my god, this is an awesome.
Would have never guessed that. I thought it was like a upbeat kids book. But that's awesome. No, and I love seeing that, and just knowing that like weird stuff like that seems so niche on paper can be successful in this community is so fucking rad, because that's what like everybody's been talking about in CG. That's what everybody's been talking about in the mainstream, is that ideal, like, perfect world where those niche weird indie books can thrive and can make money and can get out to fans, and we're making it happen over, not us specifically, but collectively, all these different channels and groups and just the community as a whole. It's amazing. And it's like CG, I love seeing it. It's become a lot more lax and understanding, is like, it doesn't even really matter if you like wholeheartedly claim it or anymore. If you're friendly and you're just not a dickhead, like, you're cool, and you're seeing different people pop up. You're seeing even mainstream creators that are a lot more lax with it now, and not just fucking throwing gas on the fire constantly. It's nice to see like a return to reason. I don't know if like what's happening politically had anything to do with that. It might, but I don't know. Like, people are just seem to be coming around. Not everybody, obviously, but it seems a lot better than it was a year or two ago.
There is a big problem with, not right now, but when I first started getting on Twitter, automatically I stated some opinion, and Spencer was like, do not argue with people.
I just said, don't fucking get pulled into bait drama.
But I got called like
Kayla makes me sound like her dad, but Kayla just fucking.
I'm like,
it could literally be a comedian making a joke, and Kayla will be like, "This motherfucker," and I'm like, that is literal bait on Twitter. I'm like, you're new to Twitter. There are trolls that will just say shit to like stir shit up, and you look like an idiot if you're the one commenting on all of it. I'm like, just don't go for the bait. I'm like, lay your own bait, do whatever the fuck you want. But I'm like, oh my God. Like,
if I comment on anything, being a woman, there's always some no profile bitch that had to come at me, or some fucking male feminist.
I have to delete like 90% of the jokes I would make to you in public.
Feminist.
Oh, God damn, dude.
No healthy man can be a male feminist. I'm sorry.
So you see, Past Master Dan, I live in the jungle, no joke.
I could fucking work there all day, like, dude. That looks amazing, yeah.
It's like Jurassic Park. I love it.
One day I'm going to make a video of the premises I'm living in. Like, I don't have to drive like 20 minutes for this. Like, this is right where I live.
You go to Hawaii for all that.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, I got like fresh oranges and lemons and.
We should have a reservoir stream across the street from us, and old white people everywhere.
Yeah, actually, the land in front is for sale.
I get a bunch of fucking
let me get
right now.
let me know the price tag on that
Yeah.
Let's find out what it'll cost to get some Death Curse property over by Pedro.
Oh yeah, dude, that would be. I mean, my dream is to make an indie con down here.
That would be awesome. You should.
Yeah,
Jungle Con? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the Jungle Con. No, the things like I'm
BYOM. Bring your own machete.
Not really. 'Cause I'm really big on the sea, and I do like spearfishing.
I'm big in the ocean.
All right, Pedro, I'm booking a flight.
So the thing is, like, do the con and then just make videos of us in a boat. It was like, hey, we're going to Otoque or Darien or whatever. Like, dude, the
What kind of indigenous fruit you got around you? What's out in that jungle?
Okay, right now here I have guayabas, which you guys call it guava.
Yeah. It's like I haven't heard it called that in quite a long time, man.
Yeah.
Bring me back to the kitchen. I remember hearing that for the first time and be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. We have papayas.
Oh, yeah, dude. Papa,
Yeah, coconuts. We have, I think you call it star fruit, which is like a green shaped like a star thing.
Star fruit.
Yeah,
we can make some wild jungle wine and just get wacky as hell.
Oh, dude, we have a wine here called palm wine, which is made with the core of the coconut tree.
Yeah,
and that shit's gonna fuck you up. And I have 3 different kind of oranges.
We'll drink it out of like a monkey skull.
4 different kind of lemons and roosters. Shut up.
Yeah.
And,
you gotta open up the coconuts with a machete. That's the real way to do it.
Are there like Panamanian like indigenous tribes?
Yeah.
You guys still have any tribes around? Like,
Yeah, we have the Nabe Buble. That's the name. It's really hard to. We have the Gunas.
Michael Bublé's cousin.
Are they like contacted or?
Yeah, they're contacted.
Oh, okay.
And they will squeeze you for every penny.
I was gonna say, dude, I'd just get bombed and be like, paint my whole body.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the Embera Wonan will do the best.
Green Inferno night at the convention.
Yeah, okay. Let me just find an Embera Wonan picture that's not horny.
Right? They're gonna be like,
that's not horny. I keep wanting to smoke on here like it's our channel.
Hey, this is
my morning cigar.
Way too much pain today.
So,
dandelion wine gets you high. Can you get like coca leaves down there? Is that cool or is that outlawed?
No, coca leaves.
Jesus Christ.
This is too low. This is too low for coca leaves. So you can get them like dried up.
I'm just curious about the outlaw culture. Oh, dude, look at that, babe.
Okay, so basically, this is called tawa painting, and they do that to scare away mosquitoes.
Okay,
so when you go,
that's not like an actual tattoo.
No. It washes up like in a week.
Okay, yeah, like henna or something.
Mm-hmm. So
I was like, what badass bitches! This whole tribe's into black work. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. But the things like they go topless, so I'm really like.
Yeah, you gotta be careful what you.
Hardcore, yeah, a bunch of Latin boobies, dude. We can't be having that.
They normally go topless, so I have to be really careful. So this is one group. Then you have the.
What a lovely people. That is fucking.
Yeah, they will squeeze you out of every penny. So this
how far away from these
and
people
spend it on dope ass armor. Yeah, how far away?
Like 3-hour drive. So these guys, the Gunas, they were kicked out of the Inca Empire for being gay, and this is no joke. In the 16th century.
This whole culture is just gays?
No, the things like they live in.
I was like, wait, is that it? They figured out it is genetic? What's going on?
No.
Hang on a minute.
It's cultural. Like they live in this kind of housing. They call them long huts, and everybody sleeps in the long huts. So it's sword fight every night.
Yeah, no, my brain for a moment was just like, you're telling me there's a Panamanian like gay Spartan culture, like what?
Yeah.
So how are they reproducing if everyone's gay? There's so many questions.
No, it's more like bi. It's more like bi. So
good for them, living their best life.
Yeah, it's like if you find a hole in the dark, use it,
I like that the outfits are like half like old school and look very cool, and then half like they just were like a tourist on like lost on an island. Like that last picture of all those girls in the matching outfits, I thought they were wearing weed leaf skirts at first. Like, it looks like they get the runoff from like spring break merch.
Yeah, and they're really known for this kind of artwork. It's called the mola.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I've been aching to make.
Is that just like cross stitch work or?
Yeah, cross stitch.
Okay.
But I've been aching to make like an animated feature in this style.
Yeah.
But they want millions of dollars.
I couldn't tell because it was so it's a little bit pixelated. I couldn't tell.
Sorry about that.
What is that? Is it wampum where it's like beads?
No, it's
cross stitch. Wampum's the bead one. Yeah, no, it just kind of looked like bead work.
But they go all out, dude. Like it's.
I'm sure there's a real word for it, and that's been bastardized too. But
so that's one group, and the other one, which is this guy's fight with sticks to the feet. It's called Balseria. So these guys are my favorite.
If I'm ever loaded, I want to go on like a world tour of just like Central and South American countries, like that. Yeah. What is it, Peru, where they beat the shit out of each other up in the mountains to solve their problems, and they like tie you together to beat the hell out of each other.
That would be like where I would survive.
Yeah, dude, that rocks. I want to go up there and be like, just start a bunch of fights with a bunch of like 3 foot tall Peruvian men.
Oh man, they will fuck you up, dude.
Oh yeah, no, I want to get my ass beat like legit, because then it'll just be a hilarious like that's a vlog for the YouTube channel. Is just me getting beat up by tiny Peruvian men.
I would love to see it happen.
So these guys are more like a mountain tribe.
Okay.
And these are the guys like they are really into fighting.
I was gonna say these just look like Appalachian people in America.
Yeah. So let me see if I can find like a picture of
if I saw them, I wouldn't be like, "Whoa, the local indigenous tribe." Like that would feel offensive.
So this is a very, very like mild picture, but this is basically picture this like way more violent, and they're throwing these sticks at your feet at full speed.
Yeah, it's just insane that they're like a native culture. I'm assuming they have a lot of agriculture and farming, and they're just like, let's fucking break each other's legs so we can never work again.
And this guy. Sorry.
Yeah, these are my business. Sharp ones.
No, this guy's business is to make the sticks for the festival, and that's all he does.
I'm the village asshole.
So people like will buy the sticks in advance, like years in advance. Like, I want the best stick to fuck most of the people up because the sticks break. Like it's not that tough of wood.
God.
So you want to get like the best stick.
Planned obsolescence. I can't even in sticks. They got that shit.
Yeah, it's like the Thai dudes just beating the shit out of each other with bamboo.
Man, this is just animals. Look at that. Like the whole like.
Yeah, that looks like something you sharpen down to like spear an elephant.
Yeah.
Not something you're like beating your fellow villagers in the ankles with.
Yeah,
just for fun.
Yeah, giving them Axl Rose ankles for the town fair every year.
So you have that, and then you have Boca's the Toro, which is like Stoner Paradise.
Yay.
They sell DVDs of the fights. Pedrino said they do that here too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I love like when people say America has no culture. This is what I think of. I'm like, man, can you imagine if UFC was just like some shit we did?
Yeah.
It wasn't an entertainment sport. Just like whole swaths of Americans get together to beat the hell out of each other, like high school basketball.
I'd love to be right out there, right on the ocean. I'd be in the ocean every single day of my life.
That's the only thing I can think of that we really have that's like comparative up here is like high school basketball in the South, where it's literally like a town will shut down for the afternoon because there's a football game.
Yeah, and, like right now, like Bogus is ruined. But you remember that Leo DiCaprio movie, like The Island?
Yeah. That was filmed on there.
The beach.
It's based on Bocas del Toro living. It was like that, but now it's like
I love that movie.
It's very, very touristy now.
Yeah,
and you get this like parties full of debauchery, and if you want to hook up with an European, you go to Bocas.
I would get wild there. not to have sex with Europeans.
Yeah.
I'd be the most sexable American man there. They'd be like, who is this man? Why does he radiate sex?
I feel like they would think you were just Sasquatch.
Yeah, I have the most American body, but a European sensibility.
That's good to know.
Yeah, they would try to tame you, Spencer. You would be a curiosity.
He's like an onion.
They'd be like, who is this animal?
I actually like the name Jungle Con. I'm going to get on it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Find out how much that property is near you.
Oh, dude. Land down here? Because I live outside of the city. Love kicked me out of Panama City. So I moved closer to my parents. So I'm in a province.
And we got the parents nearby, dude. Yeah, you got to find out what the price is on this property.
Yeah, dude.
Death Curse is moving to Panama.
Yeah.
Sorry, Beth.
all of a sudden, I had a Van Halen song stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, are you kidding me? That's how I'm gonna wake up every morning.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, dude. Yeah, Jungle Con. It's gonna happen, guys. I'm gonna start working on that shit.
Just slowly.
I'm going snorkeling after.
No, you're good. Let me hop in here real quick, guys.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. I wanted to ask y'all, Spencer, you had showed it to me before, but since we have Pedro and Spencer here, do y'all want to show us that Action City News logo?
Yes.
Could you tell us anything about that?
What's the easiest way to show it? So yeah, we got we've had an idea to do a little animated thing for a while, and I've been like throwing weird fragmented ideas to Pedro for like a month now, but it's been in the back of our head.
That's gonna happen too, man.
Yeah, it's been in my head for years, and it's been like the running joke of the Patreon podcast and everything, was that we were eventually going to start taking some of the bits from the podcast and some other ideas that we've had that are kind of like so offensive or weird and out there and stupid that we didn't even bring them up on the podcast at any point in time. But the idea was to have it all in this sort of shared universe Saturday morning cartoon kind of thing. And the premise was I always had this idea in my head that was essentially like a really dumb parody, which is weird because it's kind of a parody in itself, but like an even dumber parody of Last Action Hero, which is like the inciting incident for Action City News was essentially a sort of sketch comedy series set in a never-ending like action movie city, where this city is like an endless Michael Bay movie, and everything's really dumb and over the top. Trump's the forever president. The governor is a Terminator. There's a bunch of really dumb shit going on, and then mixed in with this weird world that we're building is an anchor man that ties it all together, and that's why it's called Action City News. It's from the angle of this one anchor man locked up in a news studio reporting on just the weird stuff going on, intercut with like fake movie trailers and all sorts of other stuff.
Nice.
Some comic book inspired things, like we're going to be doing Me Too Face as one of them. If you listen to the podcast regularly, I think that's one of the most like popular bits we had on the show early on, and it kind of checks all our boxes. It's real stupid, it's really offensive, and it's all about comics, so it works great. And that was sort of the idea. Is it's like if you were flipping through channels on the horniest, craziest scrambler box in the 90s ever, and it's just weird old movies and strange shit that you never heard about. That's kind of the lens we're pushing it all through. And I think the easiest way to show it is just pulling up my message to Pedro the other day.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah.
Dude, like I've been thinking about anchors, and I'm just like I'm trying to articulate the ideas I have to shoot them back at you.
Oh, I have to like, it's not even ruining anything, but I have to say Pedro like got on board and immediately got like exactly what I'm going for, down to when I was like, Trump's the forever president, it's gonna piss everybody off. It's supposed to be like really ridiculous and over the top, and it's just because we get riffing so hard on Trump all the time, and Jeff does a pretty serviceable Trump impression, so we're like, we have to exploit the fucking hell out of this. And Pedro suggested the idea that we make him like a Zordon figure when he's addressing crowds, which is just like a chef's kiss, and immediately was like, yeah dude, Pedro gets fucking first credit on this series, like without a doubt. Like,
yeah, dude. I just feel like now the president just like call him a fire and just like, hi, I'm the president. You guys suck.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, dude. This is gonna be an amazing show. Like, I always wanted to be like I always love like Space Ghost Coast to Coast and you know that element. But Space Ghost Coast to Coast is a talk show, like a Letterman show. Yeah. This is news.
So, that was the whole thing, was like we can sort of have like talk show kind of guests on, like they're doing an interview panel and stuff. There's a lot of different weird formats, which is why like when the news thing clicked, I was like, oh, this is perfect, because then it's like we can cut to weird product commercials and shit like that. Yeah, we riffed on a knockoff Blue Chew a while back. That was really great. Yeah. There's so much stuff I want to mention on here that I don't want to mention because I don't want to offer the potential for your channel to get flagged because of something dumb that I've done.
Yeah, dude. But I mean, I'm thinking Anchorman. I'm thinking Anchorwoman. I'm thinking Weatherman, and I'm thinking Man on the Streets. Like,
yeah, it's gonna be
4 different characters. Just like, where can we go with that shit? Like, I was the day you showed me this, I went to bed. I was laughing to myself.
Yeah, dude. And that was the whole idea, was like, it's a sandbox where we have stuff to consult with the podcast where we never know what is coming up on it. Yeah. We never know, like, it's like we're possessed by 3 Confederate ghosts or something. It gets really offensive and over the top. We're like, we don't know what morals are for an hour every week. It gets out of control, and then that makes it sound like we get really racist.
That was my thought. I was like, I don't remember any of that.
I don't remember it being like that. Yeah, we all wear matching gray outfits. No.
Then I do my interviews and worry about my interviews getting pulled off because
we're putting the podcast on a second channel because we don't want it to conflict with the real work Kayla is doing. But the podcast is purely because we were like, comedy is in a weird place. We love stand-up comedy and shit like that, and we're all very goofy and ridiculous behind closed doors. And we were like, what if we gave a little window into just what it's like when we're hanging out working on our comics and dicking around, and it's basically that, but we take an hour off from working on our comics and just dick around and have a good time. We're hoping in the near future to get Jeff and Ryan out here so we can record some live episodes.
Yeah, but that's what Bill Burr did with F is for Family. Like, okay, all the jokes like I can't really say anymore, he put it into animation because there's no civil rights for animation.
Yeah, it's a weird place to be in, and it's by no means we're saying we're like the funniest people in the world, but we don't care enough to start making things that are funny again. We're like, even if it makes us laugh and we have fun with it, that's all that matters to us. And making other people laugh is one of my favorite things to do. I like telling cool stories and having a good time and sharing a laugh. So
I feel like you gotta have like a female reporter that gets sent to a location but always ends up in the wrong location.
Yeah, our April O'Neil.
That's exactly, call it April O'Neil. She's always sent to a location but ends up in the wrong location.
She's got like one big eye.
Story.
Yeah. She'd be pretty if it weren't for her cleft eye. Hi, I'm April O'Neil.
I'm April O'Neil.
She just has a gravelly man's voice. Yeah, it's mostly really gay jokes, or really dumb jokes. Sped, which is gonna happen. Prejudice to the Extreme, which is just an Extreme Prejudice parody that I wrote. That's one of the most hilarious and easy to write. I wrote like 3 words. It's the dumbest script ever, and I can't wait to send it to Pedro. It's just like cartoon Nick Nolte saying racist things, but it's all blurred out. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie. It's like one of my favorite John Milius movies, and it's like a guys being dudes, toxic masculinity. Like if that movie aired today, people would like fucking twist their own heads off. The SJW. It's called Extreme Prejudice. It was Nick Nolte and Powers Booth are like childhood friends. One of them grows up to be like a Texas Ranger, Nick Nolte. And Powers Booth grows up to be like a Colombian drug kingpin. And they're both in love with the same woman. And it's just like the most wildly like John Milius movie ever made. Crazy shootouts. The most politically incorrect script you could imagine. William Forsythe's in it. Like it's a fucking amazing cast. Clancy Brown really young in it. Bunch of just fucking awesome character actors that we rant and rave about all the time. Absolutely whooping ass, but it's also known as being like one of the most racist movies ever. So I wrote this parody that is literally like the same movie, but it's the trailer for the movie, but all the bad words are bleeped out. So it's just like incidental words that they're saying to each other and long beeps in the middle of gunfights. So you can see them just like black barred over and over again, and you literally have no clue what the movie is until the end. It's just like Nick Nolte gravelly swearing. It's really dumb, but that's the caliber of shit we're doing.
Dude, if it works, it works, man.
Yeah. If you like old movies and horror and stuff like that, you will probably get a lot of the stuff we're referencing and having fun with, parodying and getting weird, and like all of the dudes are doing voices on it. Lots of dumb stuff. Calm down, listener.
Calm down, listener.
We're trying to get Stav on the show. I like the boys.
Guys, remind me when your winter is. My mind is racing.
November.
Yeah, like
November all the way up to March.
I'm in Massachusetts, so it
depends on the year. Morning cigar time.
Yeah, because the thing is, like here in Panama, it's raining or it's not. That's all we get. So
Spencer likes.
We get all inconsistent weather. We never get the weather that we think we're gonna get.
God damn it.
Yeah,
very unpredictable.
Yeah, because I mean, my point is like our nicest months are January, February, and March. That's when you get no rain, only like sea breeze and whatnot, and that's what we call summer. So if it's in the middle of your winter,
we're going to Panama.
Yeah, we're gonna do Jungle Con. Not this January. Maybe.
Yeah, that would be Buck
2023 is to make it really nice. Like I know guys who make cons already, so I'm gonna like hook up with them and see.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of money that would be. I don't even know what the exchange rate is like in Panama.
Dude, that's another thing. We are.
Yeah, we can all ball out in Panama for a week.
Yeah, no, we use the U.S. dollar. We don't have like a Panamanian coin. They usually like Balboa. I've never seen a Balboa in my life. It's always been dollars. So,
yeah, but how far does the dollar go down there, though?
Oh, it's Panama's expensive for Latin America. But if you are with your boy here,
so we're balling on a budget in Panama, boys.
Yeah, if you're with your boy here, I know where to get things cheap, and I have friends who own breweries.
Jungle Con sounds racist. Yeah, right. We can't spin this anyway.
Dude, not if I say it. And
if you say it, we can get away with it.
Yeah, I can get away with it because I'm in the jungle, guys.
It's just a picture of me on the banner. Jungle Con.
Jungle Con.
We're doomed.
Yeah, and get Spencer dressed like a Viking. Like, Jungle Con. So no,
jumping off a boat. This weekend we conquer Panama.
Yeah. So the thing is it can be done. Like I can get in touch with those guys to see how much money we need, and we can always get sponsors.
Yeah,
you can always get sponsors because I mean I know a couple of guys who own breweries like microbreweries, and they're really good. Like one of them has won like international
I said early on when we get signed, I thought it would be way cooler if I got like turbo famous in a foreign country instead of America. Exactly. Like I would love it if somehow like Voidwalker was just like huge over in Japan and I had no idea. That would be the most hilarious thing in the world.
Voidwalker, we're huge in Uzbekistan.
Yeah, I'm in Uzbekistan. We got weebs and nerds. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, can you imagine just a bunch of like Midwestern white kids with cattails in the middle of the Panama jungle? Yeah, how about Thor looking like me in the new God of War, guys? Hey, I'm finally getting some representation.
Yeah, and people
I told you, most sexable man in comic books. I got my own video game character.
Yeah, people are getting pissed. Like, Thor doesn't look like that. Like, how do you know?
Yeah, they're like, that's not a strong man. I was like, I look like that, and I guarantee I can whoop everyone's ass that's saying silly shit like this.
The guy from Game of Thrones was like in the real life like strongmen competitions. You know,
yeah, those guys aren't like.
He's a big man.
Yeah, they're not trim
that's a
dudes.
Big man.
No,
and I'm not that big by any means, but I'm like, us big motherfuckers can crush shit, guys.
Yeah, dude. I've seen guys that are shaped like that Thor knock out people with a slap.
Yeah, so like that guy. Right. That guy will literally, like, even a fat guy like that. If that guy didn't know how to fight and legitimately wanted to sit on you, like that age-old joke, you're probably gonna die from that. That's just physics. Like,
yeah, dude.
Yeah, man. I feel seen too. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I love the idea of like a bar fighting Thor, and I was shocked that people who like actually like Norse mythology were pissed about that. I was like, he's not like a pretty boy in like the actual mythology. He's like a fucking drunken badass fucking god who goes around whooping ass and dispensing justice. Like, he's a big fucker. He's not like a that's what I loved about that first like new God of War reboot was they did the characters like more accurate and insane.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe making Thor look like that makes it a little bit too real, because I've seen ugly people destroy life, you know, in real life.
I like the idea though that he isn't just that like 1-to-1 to Kratos this time around. Like I'm getting bored of that. The villain being a reflection of the hero.
Yeah,
people destroy life.
Yeah, dude, like, and that's not pretty. They have like the agreements, and they're already ugly, and maybe they have like pock marks from like
apparently
whatever.
It's only okay when they make the women big. You know, that's the only time it's okay.
Yeah,
that's fucked up, man.
They can't have big men. You can only have big women.
Yeah, and I mean,
why can't we have both?
Big women deserve love too.
The female bodybuilder thing just always feels like such a fetish to me. I think that's the issue with it. I'm like, to each his own, do your thing, but that is like, that community is turbo horny. It's not even like subtle about how they're into like big women, and I'm like, yeah, dude, go for it. But like, holy shit, like it's that's that like the like writer's overt fetish showing meme, like like it's like you made your main character a toilet seat, and it was like, oh, I wonder what this guy's about. Like, like, why is every woman in this universe just fucking 300 pounds of solid roided out muscle?
Yeah, he's all about them cheeks on your face. I mean, people like what they like.
Have at it. I'm like, you could spend, instead of making like 300 chapters of a manga about it or something, you could just like go out and meet one of those women and get crushed IRL and like maybe get it out of your system.
It's never out.
You know me, I'm a huge proponent for being horny on main. Be a weirdo, do your thing. You only live once.
Yeah, I came into this pretty naive. Like it's taken me probably like the first 6 months of being in the indie comic scene to start to sort of pick up on people. And I've had friends like, just a book, like a buddy of mine, we were looking at a friend's book, and after the friend left, he's like, man, that thing was really weird. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, you didn't get like a pregnancy fetish from that? And I was like, no. But now I'm like, I'm just sort of picking up, like now that I'm starting to see things like that, I'm like, okay, yeah, wow. There's a lot of...
you get it every once in a while. I get why like people thought Hank was a self-insert of me, because we based fucking Darcy on Kayla on purpose. But, like, once you know that, like, we based him on Bruiser Brody, it makes way more sense. I'm a big dude. I'm not fucking a monster like Hank is by any means. And I was like, he's like the exact opposite of me, where I'm like a big goofy kid, and I get compared more to like pothead Seth Rogen back in the day than a Bruiser Brody type or anything like that. Like, I understand self-inserts, and I feel like I see it a lot more. There's more self-inserting in the personalities of Cade and Voidwalker than there is anything in City of Rot. If anything, would be like, I wish I was this fucking cool and this uncaring of a dude.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yeah, it's like, life would be way simpler if I could be as uncaring as Hank, but I still care about people. And Darcy is literally nothing like Kayla.
Yeah, definitely not a stripper.
Yeah.
Definitely not a
Yeah, that will get in the way of writing.
But no, you know what was funny about...
It's like, we're going to make you a slutty goblin in this.
He's like, so, we're going to do some pitches for the dudes. You know, like how Spencer approaches it. Like, all right, so, we're going to do like some nerd horny shit. What do you think? I'm like...
No, we said we were going to do a cosplay shoot for it. And she was like, we got to figure out a way to make it just enough that is still tasteful. Same way, she tries to spin this like this was my idea. But
when we got the posters for Darcy, I was the one that chose what design
I pitched it as a drawing, which is what it became.
A little bit of boob.
I'm not gonna allow her make me sound hornier than I am. Same way she suggested the Slim Jim shoot for the fucking Patreon.
I will do a Slim Jim shoot.
Yeah.
I will don a Randy Savage costume.
Kayla's the one flirting with the idea of tossing out all her principles for you nerds.
But I will be clothed. I just have very long legs that I can show off.
Slim Jim shoot. That sounds tasteful.
Kayla, I've seen you.
Trying to make me sound like I'm whoring Kayla out.
Yeah, but Kayla, like, I've seen you like flirting with Slim Jim on Twitter, and there was
of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Kayla's horny on main for Slim Jim. I straight up told her if she did the photo shoot to just send it to them and be like,
exactly.
"Yo, Slim Jim."
I'm trying to get a Slim Jim sponsorship for my life and for Death Curse.
That is like, probably more of a reality than anything else we do.
He's the sponsor. Like, let's find advertisements. The first one, I'm like, Slim Jim. He's like, no, you have to think about ones that we can actually get. I'm like, we're gonna get Slim Jim one day, Spencer.
Yeah.
Like,
the reality is Slim Jim will probably come first from Kayla before anything we ever do.
Yeah.
They love her.
They gave some guy a freaking championship belt, and this guy, there's no way in hell he doesn't eat. Like,
I don't think they believe how many Slim Jims you actually eat. I sent her home with like a bag of like 30 of them from the fucking box that we got.
I ate them during the whole ride.
She finished them on the ride. I literally had the other half of them, and I finished them like yesterday.
Wow. I don't know.
Slim Jims when I got down there. It's mortal sin.
Yeah. We do get Slim Jim down here. Yeah, we do get Slim Jim down here. I mean, they're all right. Like,
I love them.
They're not good up here either, Pedro. Don't let her fool you.
Okay.
It's literally like trash. I thought we were getting gas station food.
I thought we were getting like the Latin American version that gets like thrown out of a plane.
I bick them. I literally set them on fire with a lighter and cook them because I was taught that by like
Wendy
black dudes
Williams.
that I used to work with.
Wendy Williams.
I said I felt recognized when I saw Wendy Williams do it on her show on BET one time. I was wicked drunk and her show was just on. I think we were at like a party or something. Someone was flipping through channels and she's just like on her show showing people Bic in a Slim Jim. And it was like a thing I always did because these dudes I worked with at Burger King were like, yeah, dude, we always did this shit in the hood. It's delicious. I was like, oh shit, it kind of is. And it's like a really hood thing. And then fucking Wendy Williams did it on TV, and I was like, God damn, I feel so like affirmed right now. Like I'm not insane. There's just always been a weird fucking thing I do.
I put them on Hawaiian pizza. I dip them in nacho cheese sauce.
I'm a weird guy, man. That's why like me and Pedro, or me and Ginge have seemingly led fairly similar lives. I almost ended up in a strip club myself.
Mm-hmm.
Although I would have been in the back end. Although I was bigger than all of their bouncers, they didn't really have issues with bouncing. My cousin managed the place, and my cousin's like a little bit shorter than me, but a bigger dude, and even angrier and less moral fiber to stop him from crushing a skull. So he was the manager of the place, but I sort of like worked there for like a week or two and was like, I don't know if I want to start getting back into this world when like things are going good with writing, and I can be reckless, and if I needed to bounce or whatever, I would have had no problem with it. I've done stuff like that before, and have no qualms with that kind of stuff. But I don't like being that person if I don't have to be.
You don't want to be around that many crazy bitches anyhow.
Yeah, and like, the last bouncer. The last bouncer that worked there got stabbed by a bottle by one of the strippers. Stabbed him in the stomach with it. And like he was completely fine and everything, got a couple stitches, but it's like, those are the bitches you're protecting, and they're fucking stabbing you with bottles because they had a bad night. I know a few that are really actually very good human beings that actually, you know, they were doing it for a legitimate reason, though, I will say. It's just a job, too. I knew plenty of strippers that were nice chicks and just wanted to make a bunch of money working one day a week showing their titties, then... Yeah. Like, you know, and then they can be home. Like, I knew a bunch that were also great mothers, and, you know, were home with their kid every fucking day of the week. And then, like, their mom would babysit that one night she was out flashing her titties for a little while. And it's like, these are all chicks that then went off to college and shit. So it's like, I don't know. So I think it's kind of like, if you don't have a problem with that kind of work, fucking... Yeah. Most of those women end up way better off in the long run, as long as they like keep their head straight and don't get into drugs and shit. Those chicks will strip for like a year, make enough money to put themselves through college with cash and like buy a fucking condo. And like every friend I've ever had who was a stripper when she was like 18 is now like doing completely fine on her own, or like married with kids and shit. Like,
right. Yeah, you can definitely. I wasn't a stripper, just to clarify. I've worked as a strip club.
I was like, Ginge, you should be prepared.
Though he has the looks and body for it, ladies. Don't let him fool you.
I will not judge you if you were, Ginge.
Oh, Ginge,
I'll pay you money.
That would be how you had to introduce yourself on every show.
Yeah.
Ex-male exotic dancer. Dude, I would be bragging about that everywhere. We were lying to chicks about that. I think I told you guys we played a hardcore show one night, and it was ladies' night at the bar, and we walked into the bar to get drinks, and there's just a bunch of like firemen and banana hammocks, and like we were just like lying to girls in the hardcore show part of the bar, telling them that we were the owners of the strip company that like leased out all the strippers, and had a bunch of these dumb hardcore chicks convinced that like us young idiots in a hardcore band also like moonlighted as the managers for a fucking like mail order fireman stripping company.
I knew a guy that had elephant ears tattooed on his thighs that worked at Harrison's when I was a kid. I never knew.
Why did you know him as a kid?
No, he worked there, and he wore shorts, and he had and I asked him, like, what's that? And he's like, oh, they're elephant ears.
That feels more like a gay community thing.
I never got it until like later on in life. My dad was fucking howling. I didn't get it. I'm like, oh, whatever. I didn't get it.
Your dad is so funny around anything that deals with sexuality.
Oh my god!
Like a sociologist for gay men. I love it.
My dad.
I'm like, my sister, I could get up. That's what I need to do. Is I need to write a skit that's like Jurassic Park, but it's gay men, and Kayla's dad is like the Sam Neill character, because he's discovering a new species on an alien planet. It's fucking hilarious.
Like Sam Neill in Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, against two dudes fucking.
My dad. He probably kicked your ass for that. He probably kicked your ass. He would go like full berserker mode on you. Nice. But like my dad, so my sister is I don't even know how
it's
to
like
describe my
a
sister.
boyish wonder. He like doesn't understand it. He's like, to each his own.
I'm trying to tell a story here, Spencer.
He doesn't understand the engineering and dynamics.
My sister is a member of the gay community. She is
one of the most interesting members of the gay community.
She will date.
She's
anybody.
not pan. She said she hates men.
No, she doesn't really like
pan
men,
mean you like both?
Men that dress like women. So she likes sissies.
She likes traps and sissies.
She likes sissy men. I'm just curious.
Kayla's sister's a dominatrix.
She used to dress her ex-boyfriend up as a girl. Like I would be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, when you're bringing your work home.
So. God.
Pegging.
Honey, can you leave the work
friends,
at the office? I don't like wearing dresses.
But one of my friends, Brandon, he is a writer. He's a phenomenal writer, and he writes.
Pedrino is saving up to move up here and marry Kayla's sister. He's like, whatever, bro. I'll wear a dress to get that green card.
I'm gonna be like, marry Kelsey, and let's do a comic. But my father was asking because he watched a show, and I guess there was like a gay sex scene in the show. So he asked my friend Brandon, who is a member of the LGBTQ community. He's like, I thought that gay men only did this one way, and then I was so uncomfortable. And my friend
Jurassic Hunk
broke everything down for my
I got
father.
the name.
I was so uncomfortable. It was
Sorry.
the most uncomfortable thing in my life. I was like, did you really just ask my friend this, Dad? And he's like, well, what? I wanted to know because I always thought it was, he's like, he's like, it's not. He's like, I don't know. I'm just asking because but my dad's awesome. My dad is awesome. He's something. He's a gem. Yeah, I love his comic book rant. Everything is shit.
Yeah, Petrino just be waking up every day next to Kelsey, like, all right, what's the kink today, baby girl? You want me to shave my head or something?
I think if Kelsey saw Commie Mark when he dresses up as an anime girl.
Oh man!
Because Commie Mark is supposed to dress up as an anime girl. I don't know.
Commie Mark would snap her out of it.
Dude,
Kayla loves Commie Mark.
I love Commie Mark. I do. I love Commie Mark and Deadwood Dale.
Yeah.
I love them.
Those are funny guys.
Two great channels.
The thing with Commie Mark, I have a really hard time understanding him sometimes because he mumbles a lot.
I love him.
But he's a funny dude though.
Dude, Commie Mark is like so like deadpan delivery that I feel like a crazy person when I'm just like in the house laughing by myself, and Beth will walk in and she thinks I'm listening to like political videos or something because he doesn't sound like he's trying to even be funny in the slightest, and I will just be howling alone. I tried to show him to a buddy recently, and it just like went over my buddy's head. I showed my buddy Come Town. He thought it was the funniest fucking thing in the world, but I showed him Commie Mark, and he was like,
"What is going on?
This one doesn't land for me, buddy."
He did the art show. It was like the what was it called? It was like the no art auction or whatever it was. Like,
yeah.
Like the anti-art auction that they did.
Art auction, okay. And I go to Spencer. I'm like, I'm saving up all my Slim Jim wrappers because I'm gonna contact Commie Mark the next time I know he has one, and I'm gonna make a fucking self-portrait of me with Slim Jim wrapper. It's like, dead serious.
Just horrible
I'm like,
garbage
I'm gonna
art.
auction it for $1.
It was like, watch Kayla end up doing. I'm telling you, that Slim Jim fucking sponsorship is gonna have probably not for Death Curse. It's just gonna be Kayla, like,
that's the new Kayla joint.
The new Macho Man Randy Savage. Hopefully, her heart won't explode from cocaine while she's driving in her Jeep down the Florida highway.
It took 2 deaths to kill Macho Man. It was like he had a heart attack and then crashed.
Yeah,
dude, I was watching like a Jake the Snake Roberts interview, and he was talking about how Macho Man went to him like, You gotta let yourself be bit by that snake, brother.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going in that ring and be bitten. And is it poisonous? Does it have like the glands on? Like, no, man. Then you let that snake bite you right now, or we can have a problem. Like, dude, like he was like that in real life. It's Macho Man, man. I don't know. Like,
I love him.
I'm not really like a wrestling fan, but I do enjoy Macho Man Savage, the Hulkster, like those guys. Like they developed this like
the cocaine era.
Yeah, the larger than life personality, like Ric Flair.
When everybody was just absolutely
Ric Flair
skiing.
worked at Comic-Con.
Actually,
when it was winter all the time.
Dude, I have a gig.
Dude, the WWF fucking logo was like solid gold and twinkled. Like
Spencer.
Everybody was on cocaine.
Sorry. He's trying to talk on his show.
Yeah, dude, I have a gig on the 25th, and I just want to show you guys the video I made for the promo.
I need to see it.
And the thing is, it's in Spanish, but you might enjoy the video.
It'd be weird if it were in English.
I can understand most of it. It's just when I respond back, my responses are not as great as they used to be.
Yeah, so are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
It's in silence.
Oh, it's
yeah, it's silent.
I didn't share a video. I'm a monkey. Give me just a second. Let me share again. Yeah, so anticlimactic. Here we go.
Oh, Pedro.
Yeah, I suck. I know.
Te voy a decir una vaina, pelado. Y oye bien. Tú no tienes idea la clase de banda que viene para encima. Créemelo, tú no sabes. Y quita esa clase. Estoy seguro que después de las ocasiones tú vas a quedar así, tirado en el piso. Y no me vengas con la excusa de que no tengo que ponerme, porque esto es puro rock and roll y sabrosura, papá. Y más te vale que compres este boleto hasta que me encuentre frente a tu vieja. ¡Woo!
That's freaking hilarious.
So yeah, dude, Ric Flair, like we need that back somehow.
He was at a con and he is just as lively in person.
Yeah.
He was at Rhode Island a couple years ago, and the whole time he yelled "woo" so many times. That's all I could when I went home from the con that night, that's all I heard when I laid in bed. I was just
like a horror movie. Walking down dark alleys.
That was the night the guy that dressed up, I had someone knock at my door at a con, and I'm out there by myself doing press stuff, and I get a knock at my door, and it's someone singing "Hit Me Baby One More Time." So
it was me.
I go to open my door. I'm in like a nightgown and everything, and it was this guy dressed as a Nightcrawler, and he's like, "Oh shit, wrong place," because they're meant to go across the hall, but he's at "My loneliness is killing me," like really into it with some other guy. I can't remember what he's dressed. It was the guy that was Nightcrawler that really stuck out to me. So yeah, getting that at like 3:00 in the morning was good times, you know. Then they were partying across the hall the whole time. I was like, what is going on? Like, shit, they could have at least invited me to join after I had.
Yeah, exactly. Like nowadays, something like that happens, and it would be considered like harassment.
I didn't care. I thought it was funny as hell. I'm like, I don't know where we're supposed to go, but it ain't here. Thanks for the serenade, you know?
Yeah.
So
you appreciate stuff like that.
I can't wait till we get to work cons again. And that is like, you know, I met Spencer at a con. I met Spencer when I was doing press, I think. And I had to dress up as in a costume because none of I was getting cosplayers for the magazine, but there was this thing with cosplayers that they don't want to.
Boston Comic Con, right?
Boston Comic Con, yeah. One of the Bostons.
It was like Stan Lee's
2015 or 2016.
Yeah, it was Stan Lee's last East Coast appearance, and literally the closest I don't know about Kayla, I got like 10 feet away from him, and I've told the story on it's like one of my like favorite con stories and also like soul crushing stories was I got within like 10 feet of him, and there's like a crowd of people around him, like security and people just excited to see him. And he looked me what I thought like dead in the eyes and was like, Excelsior. And I turned around and it was to a dude like right behind me, and I was like, oh shit. And it was Nien Nub.
But yeah, Spencer.
Yeah, the weird pilot alien from Star Wars. They had the booth behind me, and he was like up on the cockpit thing with the lid opened up, and that's who Stanley was saying it to.
Was the guy who spoke Nigerian, right?
I think that's what it is. Yeah, he speaks it just sounds like gibberish. But yeah, I was like, oh man. And I think I went and told Kayla right after that. I was like, I thought Stan Lee was just saying Excelsior to me, and I turn around and it's Nien Nub behind me. It's like, damn it.
Spencer wasn't even with Alterna or anything at that time. He was just like doing his own thing. He was there with Mike, and like I said, I was doing press. And
we showed a book around to a bunch of people.
Zatanna. Like, so I had to dress a costume because the first day that I went, none of the cosplayers would interact with me because I didn't have a costume on. It was fucking crazy. Even though
did you interview Liefeld that year?
The next year I did.
Okay, because that was the year I tried to get up to his table to talk to him, but you had to like pay a stupid amount of money. Yeah, that bastard stole my Excelsior.
So crushing.
Yeah, Liefeld was awesome.
He was like, like standing up on the cockpit all cool, and I was like, damn, that's the coolest Nien Nub has ever looked. And I think I got a picture with him later that weekend, so I was like, we'll let bygones be bygones, you bastard. But
I've been only to one con in my life. I don't have con stories.
Well,
I've never really attended one. I've worked all of them. I did attend a Walker Stalker con.
Yeah, she's like a robot at them. It's insane. But I tried to get up to Rob's booth, and you had to like pay for a signature or something, or you basically couldn't get in line. I was like, I don't want anything signed. I just wanted to talk to the dude for a minute. And so I was like, fuck it, whatever. And I wandered off. And then later on that day, I was just like kneeling down, looking through image books, and was flipping through Youngblood issues of his from back in the day, and the dude next to me was Rob Liefeld, and he was just like, that's a good one. And I was like, this felt like a scripted moment, and I just like looked at him and was like, whoa, hey dude, like,
I think
nice to meet you.
One of the best things that happened to me at a con is when Stranko stopped me in the middle of the con and kissed my hand.
Oh yeah.
I was like I don't think he knew I knew who he was, but I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of horny going on in the industry directed right at Kayla that would blow a lot of minds. That's what I mean. Like that performative SJW crowd is hilarious because behind closed doors they do way more reckless shit than just some bad words on the internet.
There is so much shit. Like, I would love for someone that I have seen do things, or
when Kayla releases her tell-all when she's like a vindictive 75-year-old woman.
I'll never do that though. But there's a lot, and I can say like some of the cosplayers lie too because they hook up with people. Some of them they hook up with people because they think they're going to gain more attention. That's why. That's why I got really upset when they were trying to cancel what's his name recently,
Warren Ellis.
Yeah, with all the stuff with the women. Like, I'm sorry, but there is no one that could ever convince me.
And he was a trans ally
that I didn't want to do. I'm sorry. You have a brain.
Off with his head.
Women slept with this guy because they
crucified their Jesus, man.
Famous.
I mean,
that guy had like multiple interviews where he was like, "I'll bang anything." I was like, he was literally their like messiah.
Warren Ellis is like a goth wizard. Like, he will hypnotize you. Like, that's work.
Yeah,
they go to hypnotize you and then send you like goth romantic letters, like, how you doing?
But you know what? That's up to those women.
He's a goth nerd, and a bunch of chicks all of a sudden are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I ever fell for that shit."
What am I gonna cry over? Like, you know, I've had some horrible exes. What am I gonna freaking cry over everything that has been done to me?
No one's safe, man. Jesus. I'm just saying, he was like their messiah for a really long time. He's like doesn't discriminate, bangs whatever, loves whatever, is like a free love, big time hippie, and they came for him.
I mean, I told my dad they tried to cancel Frank Miller, and my dad was like, "I'm fucking over all
that." People seem to forget that happens like every 5 or 10 years for Frank Miller. He's been literally dealing with that since like the 90s, if not earlier. That might be why he got real boozed up for a really long time too, is he probably just got sick of hearing it all the time. Like, somebody is always going to be pissed off about what you do no matter what. So you might as well just do whatever the fuck you want and not worry about it.
I don't know. Like, I'm not really that big on cosplay. I mean,
I'm not big into it either. It's not my thing. That's
people want to cosplay my characters. Cool.
I get very offended, though, because a lot of things with press was more like, okay, we love your personality. We love that you have all of this knowledge. Will you cosplay? No. Okay, well, we found this cosplayer, and we want you to basically write your personality out and, basically go, be the ghost behind this person because they don't know shit.
It'd be fucking bonkers to see somebody, legitimately cosplay Voidwalker. So I have no self-control, so I'd immediately be like, let's shoot a short film or something with you right now. I can't help myself. And cosplayers almost always do it better than at least TV shows. So.
Brandon's cosplays. My friend Brandon is one of the best, the one that writes novels. He is one of the fucking best cosplayers around, hands down. When he doesn't win a contest, I think it's like a setup because his stuff is so good and he really becomes the character. It's like, there are cosplayers that I really love. I mean, it's not my thing, but he is a cosplayer that I really love. He's passionate about it. It's what he does, and he works so hard on creating all these designs, and he makes original characters too, and he's awesome.
I'll be more impressed by that somebody makes their own costume. You're using your creativity, but I don't know, maybe because cons down here, we don't really have a comic book industry or animation industry. So the cons here are all about the cosplay contest. So when I'm invited, when I'm invited, it's like, dude, I have no place. When I used to own the animation school, they always kind of hey, you need to have a booth at the
I can't imagine.
But at the same time, though, my thing from being a vendor, my vendor perspective is that, and working with artists, is the cosplayers do not spend money at the cons. They don't invest to it. They go there to take pictures with the celebrities or whoever they think is hot at the time in order to up likes for themselves. And that is something that I have an issue with. A lot of the times, when I was interviewing some cosplayers, not all of them. I'm not going to shit on all of them because
they're just influencers. I have to go get some water, so I will be
there are some that basically.
I am absolutely out of my mind from coffee.
Why are you cosplaying this character, or what made you fall in love with this character? Well, I look like the character, or I thought the costume I would look sexy in it, or you get answers like that, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
What? I'm mind blown.
It's very, very disappointing, I have to say.
That's sort of where I'm at with cosplay as well. It's I remember when it, at least probably the mid 2000s, 2010-ish, 2009 is maybe when it first started to pop off. I think even then it was sexy. I remember Jessica Negri, that was the big female cosplayer for a while.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of how it is basically just a link for your OnlyFans account.
She wouldn't let me interview her.
Jessica Negri?
No. So I'm
I'm not a huge fan of her, really. I mean, it's just, she was the first cosplayer. Yeah, I mean, we don't even really have a con here. We had a small one for a couple years called Creative Con. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's the biggest thing we had was a TARDIS. We got a hold of a TARDIS from like one of the seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, like the cosplay in ways has ruined aspects of Comic Cons. There is a big problem with certain companies have now taken over Comic Cons, and they have deviated away from comics. They have made it more of a celebrity thing, and I'm not talking about people that would be considered like a comic book celebrity. I'm talking about actors and actresses. You know, it's different. I will say the voice actors from anime, they always have a crazy line. Christopher Sabat, I've always wanted to go over, but I have never had time, and his lines are so long because I'm like, I want you to record like my voicemail as Vegeta, and he do it. Like, he's so awesome with everybody. Now, that I don't mind because I feel it goes into the comic book stuff. But a lot of the times I think there needs to be a separate con for people in movies because we need to put the emphasis back on creators and artists. When I go to a con, that's what I'm most excited about. That, and if I could score a deal on a book that I'm looking to fill in my collection.
Yeah. Like, for example, like you speak about voice actors, like I don't watch English dubs.
Yeah.
So like to me, those guys, like that's to me like an Uber driver. I was like, who's the voice of who?
Yeah, so I watch subs and dubs because I have to watch the subs first when it all comes out.
Yeah.
Because I got to watch it and I have to watch it now. So, I mean, that's just my personality. But then when the dubs come out, I can focus more on everything because I find myself with the subtitles, like I read everything, but sometimes I get so caught up in reading what is going on that I miss some of the stuff in the background that I want to see. So, I mean, it like with Dragon Ball Z, there's a lot of action. So when I'm watching
Spanish dub, no. Especially, I mean, unless they're Chilean dubs from Chile, because I mean, if everybody knows like the relationship of Latin American and anime. When our first animes, and we're talking like mech anime from the 70s and 80s, it was translated in Chile, but the Chileans didn't know Japanese, so they were just making up the scripts.
Really?
As they went. Yeah, it was very funny. Oh yeah, it's like nothing had to do with anything. And it was very funny because Chilean Spanish sounds funny by itself.
Are they the ones that have the lisp? Wasn't there a?
Those are the Spanish. The thing is like,
that's the Spanish.
If you would say like, okay, allow the fat man to move. Let's say that phrase in Spanish. Hey, deja que el gordo se mueva.
It sounds better to me.
Yeah, but in Chile, no, that's how they sound.
It's like Ed, his father is Puerto Rican and his mother is El Salvadorian.
Yeah.
So his accent when he speaks Spanish, I'm like, when he first spoke Spanish around me, I'm like, I understood what you said, but where's your accent from? Because he has picked up like an accent from both. And the accents within those Spanish languages are completely different.
Yeah, they do mix. They do mix. Like if you go to Colombia, like their cadence and their ring is completely different from Panamanian. And I can do Colombian because I lived there for 6 years. But I mean, like you can tell, like when I speak Panamanian Spanish, it's really fast. Colombian has like a song to it, and they use a lot of diminutives.
It's like Dominicans. I feel like Dominicans sing when they speak Spanish.
No, but Dominicans.
I grew up in a I grew up in a neighborhood where it was primarily Dominicans, some Puerto Ricans, some Hondurans, because people always think the Hondurans. They don't realize Hondurans speak Spanish. People always think the Hondurans are black. So
yeah, but the thing with Dominicans is that they speak like they were singing merengue, like the music. It's like, oye, mi niño, eso no está bien. Tú sabes lo que estoy diciendo, mi niño. So they speak like that. And Colombian have their own song. So, yeah. Ashton Jack, like, had to tune into Spanish BBC. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens. Like, we have all the episodes down here. That's what happened with the Saint Seiya saga. That's what happened.
Inuyasha, too, for you guys, I think.
Yeah. Inuyasha. Also, Yu Yu Hakusho. Also,
Yu Yu Haka. That Ed loves Yu Yu Haka. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
that's a great show. Yu Yu Hakusho. You should.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten into that, Kayla. That's just a full blown action jam.
I haven't. He watches it. I haven't. I'm more like I loved Claymore.
Claymore is an awesome manga.
Yeah, Claymore. It's very well written, and I like fantasy stuff with fantasy. For fighting stuff, I mean, I'm a basic bitch. I grew up in the era of Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon. I mean, that's in America. It was like Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon first. So those are the two first animes that I was exposed to. Obviously, we had like Akira and all of that, but I was exposed to them first, and I was also exposed to Tenchi Muyo, which watching Tenchi Muyo as an adult, I was like, holy crap, this guy is like, I used to think it was funny and thought the rabbit was cute, but I didn't realize what was going on, that he had all these women and like he's running from these women, and I was like, holy crap, Tenchi Muyo is like such a ladies man.
Yeah, he's a dog.
They actually, when I was in Hawaii the other week, I found out that they are canceling Dragon Ball Z. Like they
finally
cancel culture. No, cancel culture is coming for it. Yeah, because Master Roshi, and it doesn't have strong women characters. The focus on men. I'm like, you never watched it then. You never watched it. You never.
Master Roshi is the old.
He's an old pervert.
Dog.
That's real. That's real life shit. But to say there are no strong women, I'm like, damn, you really don't understand Dragon Ball, because everything that happened in Dragon Ball is because Bulma found a 2-star ball in her basement.
Yeah.
It's Bulma brings everyone together. Yeah, the guys fight, but Bulma's the brain.
The original Dragon Ball has a completely different tone from the rest. Because I mean, it's more story based.
Yeah.
It's not so much about fighting. Like Dragon Ball Z and onwards, it's more about let's get more powerful and more powerful, and that's why I got bored. But the original Dragon Ball with the Red Ribbon Army and the Piccolo saga, like it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Based off of it was based off of Journey to the West.
Journey to the West. So that's the thing, and yeah, like I don't know, like anime for me started with mech anime. So I saw like Messenger Z, I saw Grandizer, I saw Arvigas, I saw what was the other one?
Asparagus.
Get a Robo. And the one that really got me was Captain Harlock.
Starblazers, yeah.
Captain Harlock got me better. Because it was like, oh, they're space pirates, and the ship was cooler than the one from Starblazers. I mean, Starblazers down here was called Battleship Yamato. It's based on the Yamato, like the best like Japanese battleship that got sunk right away. So in the anime, like the whole earth is irradiated, so there's no oceans. So they found the Yamato at the bottom of the ocean, and they built it into a spaceship. So that's how like the whole thing, like that's why Battleship Yamato is so big in Japan, more so than Star Wars, because it's really like we're Japanese and we save the world.
I never knew that. I need to watch it now.
Yeah, no, dude, it's very and the song, the theme song, it gets me pumped up every time I listen to it.
The anime is the best themes.
Yeah,
I swear, like everything is very metal in the beginning, and then at the end, it's like some romantic love song.
Yeah, dude.
Or like techno at the end. It's either or.
Yeah, like if you saw like Rurouni Kenshin, for example, like
you guys are making me feel like 10 years old again.
Yeah, the original song, it's all like peppy, and then like at the end of every episode, you get a romantic song. It's going like, what does that have to do with sword fighting?
I showed Spencer the Junji Ito stuff when I was out there. I was like, no, I have to get into Funimation and show you. We
have not laughed that hard in a long. Yeah, we were like, we should go to bed at a reasonable hour tonight. I stayed up and watched the entirety of that show. It's like the Junji Ito collection on Funimation.
Yeah,
some scary stuff in there and some just like downright gross out stuff, but like the spectrum of what horror is in Japan is so
awesome.
different compared to what it is here, and also feels like fetishy and kind of horny a lot of times too. So it ends up being like equally scary and unintentional comedy. So till like almost 4 a.m, I was up just screaming by myself laughing. Kayla stayed up till like 2 laughing with me. It was fucking hilarious.
Dude, there's this anime, like, I don't know how you, in Spanish it's called Kid Monstro, and it translates to Kid Monster.
Kid Monster?
I was like, and this is an anime from the 70s, but it's like the infant Wolfman and Dracula and Annie and a Frankenstein like tutor going into adventures in Japan, but the monsters, like the antagonists, are all like Japanese like folk stories and like horror stories from Japan. So it gives you a view of like this weird, like there was this turtle that has like a little lagoon at the top of his head, and his thing is drowning kids. So like Kid Monster goes with his gang to look for this turtle thing. So
a Kappa.
Yeah, a Kappa.
Yeah.
So this anime, like,
aren't those the ones where like if you trick them, they'll be like your bitch for life or something like that?
Yeah. And they're not really like evil.
They're in tons of anime where they get tricked and then they're just like, I'm the janitor here now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude. There's a lot of like I would love to explore like Latin American horror stories because it's a whole different flavor.
Oh, there was actually a show I watched on Netflix recently, Pedro.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
I actually got very hooked into it and ended up binge watching all of it the same day.
Yeah,
I thought it was so interesting, just because there were stories like of characters that I have never heard about, like or read about in literature.
So, but that's the thing. Like, this is not. I think it's called curandero or brujero or something. I think it's something like that. But that show is very, very, and I don't want to sound like it's racist, but it's very, very Mexican.
Yep. No, definitely is a Mexican show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very based on Mexican folklore. But once you go to the frontier, like we share some stuff, but they're different.
Yeah, every culture is different. Yeah.
Yeah. So for example, you have La Llorona in Mexico.
Yeah.
But as you go down, it turns into La Cegua, and you come down to Panama, it's called La Tulivieja, and then you go to Colombia, and it's a different name. So
I have a piece. I did her for one of the like draw streams we did a while ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that went out to anyone or not.
Yeah, like I'm really thinking is, I have my book coming up, which is like a dystopian future story, and then there's a project that I will be announcing with Ginge at some point, and that's gonna be really, really cool. That has to do with my love for D&D. But I want to come up with this, like, for a lack of a better name, a Constantine-like investigator, but with Latin American spooks and stuff.
Be very cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, dude. But it's not gonna be because there's always like you got like Santeria and curanderos and you got like elves, because we have elves down here, but elves here are the spawn of Satan. They're not like Legolas and Elendil. Like, no, like when you see like elves down here, they want the soul of your children.
Nice.
So
holy shit.
There's a lot.
That's like gnomes or whatever, right? Like, like the actual like folklore gnomes that like sneak into homes and like steal your shit and your kids.
Yeah, no, but these elves, like for example, like elves in Latin America, they will give gifts to children, but those gifts are like enticing you to practice Satanism.
What?
Like to worship Satan? Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard of? You've probably heard of him. I mean, maybe this is too dark. Adolfo Constanza.
Adolfo Constanza. Okay, I have to look that up.
He was a
Satanist miners. That's like that sounds like my people. Like when you see me, you're like, oh, he's a Satanist miner.
Yeah.
But he had this thing called an Ngana, I think it is. It's like a basically like a satanic quote unquote cauldron that I mean, this dude was a killer and a murderer. So I mean, he would literally like sacrifice his victims into this pot, and and it was for like, I think that's more of a more prevalent down there with that type of magic.
Yeah,
I mean?
I just feel like a bunch of guys living underground and worshipping Satan would be incredibly pale.
Yeah, the things like down here, if you want to go into witchcraft, you have like stores.
Bunch of Latin dudes that look like me.
That will cater to that shit. Like, for example, in Colombia, there was this entire mall called El Brujo Amazónico, like the Amazonian witch doctor, and all your witchcraft needs will be met in this mall.
Like Salem.
Does
the town I live in? The town I live in is like that.
Does Colombia actually have all like scopolamine everywhere? Like Vice said. Like Vice covered that so long ago. I wrote a treatment for a story that was like a sort of a hard-boiled crime noir after I started hearing about that everywhere, and I was hearing stories about buddies that like went down there for like paramilitary work and stuff like that. They were like, "Oh yeah, the shit's everywhere," but I wasn't sure if it was just like a.
It's a tree.
They call it like the Devil's Bell or something down there.
Oh, because of the flower. Yeah, it's a tree. And actually, the tree is called the borrachero tree. Like,
the tree looks pretty as hell. Like, it's a nice looking tree. Like,
but they call it borrachero, which means like the drunken tree. Because just sitting under it will get you fucked up.
Yeah.
Really?
Literally, like the shit like shakes off of it like pollen, and you can just sit under the tree and get bombed.
Yeah. So the things like they will grab the flower and concoct this like liquid, then they turn it into powder.
Yeah, they boil it down.
Only through contact with your skin, you're fucked up.
Yeah, right? It's basically like turbo ketamine that like occurs naturally in this stuff, and they like Vice has a guy on who's like basically a crackhead for it. And he uses it recreationally, but he explains the dangerous side where you get enough of it on a person, and for like 24 hours, they're basically like a zombie, and you can tell them to do whatever.
Right. Yeah.
They have their latent memory, though, so they'll tell people to go dump their bank account. And,
but Spencer, that's just like Vice only touched like the surface of the whole situation.
Yeah, no, I know. I was like, it's way darker, and they talk. Yeah. They talked to an ex-cartel guy who's like, "Oh, the people getting robbed for their bank accounts is nothing," and he mentions a couple of things that are like really dark, and that's what like incited me to start researching it a bunch, and got me to write this treatment for this story. It's called The Devil's Jaw. Like I still might do something with it, but
I don't know if you know this, but you can use this too. Like some prostitutes will put a film of like glue on top of their breast, and they'll put the powder on it. Yeah,
so it doesn't contact their skin, but then when the John gets near them,
the thing like, there you go, and they rub your face and rub your face on the
motorboat,
and then you go.
Yeah, there's one of the stories. There was.
Then they'll take you and harvest your organs. That's their business.
That was one of the ones he mentioned, something like that. Another one he said they would just like walk up to random houses in nice neighborhoods. Whoever answered the door, they would blow it in their face and then come back like 5 minutes later to make sure that it worked. Once it worked, they would have them dump their bank account, give them their car, like whatever they could get from them. Or, these people would wake up and their whole family's murdered and they would think they did it and shit like that. And like there's guys who actually went away because they couldn't prove what the fuck happened.
There's people, especially like people who owe money to the cartels.
Yeah,
they will do that. Like they will. I mean, the common name is burundanga, or they say like when you get it on you, they call it like te tomasearon, like they Thomased you.
Yeah.
But when you get like in burundanga, they will kill your family and give you the gun.
Yep.
And then they leave you for the authorities. That's like a over penalty. If we kill you, you're not suffering enough. We're gonna make you go to jail and make you think you killed your family. And
then if they test your blood or anything, you had a bunch of this shit in your system. It's just like, someone dusted him and he murdered his family. And then there's cases they talk about where the cartel, if you owed them, you know, just a little bit of money or whatever, and they had a problem with some guy they needed to handle, they'd blow this shit in your face, give you a gun, and make you go murder the guy while you're out of your mind.
Yeah, dude.
And you're out of your mind, so it's not like you're like covering your tracks or anything. You go and do the sloppiest murder ever, wake up a day later, and you killed some guy. The cartel's got both of their problems dealt with now.
Yeah, dude. Have you heard of the...
It's like crazy shit.
The bomb collar?
Yeah.
They grab like PVC things like they use for plumbing, and they build a bomb, and they put it like on your family, like, hey, come up with the money.
There was that dude, Ghost Rider that got memed on that used to set people's heads on fire, and that's going around again. Like I did a ton of research on this. Actually, Ginge, you were talking to me earlier about the Max Payne stuff. This was like part of that. I'm big on Raymond Chandler and like noir novels and shit like that.
Yeah, the whole entire thing would start with the Tonton Macoutes in Haiti. Like they would put like the tire full of gasoline around you and set it on fire.
Yep.
And then the Colombians like, hey, we're gonna one up you. We're gonna make a bomb. So
it's funny. Ubisoft made that Ghost Recon Wildlands and just cherry picked a bunch of shit from actual stories and like slightly changed names, but it was like there's a lot of very real stuff in those games. Like El Guisa, there was a real dude that was very similar to. It's basically like every time one of those guys got popular and there was a news story about them, they'd have to change their tactics and come up with some sort of new fucked up way to scare the shit out of people.
Yeah, that Ghost Rider thing is pretty horrifying.
And then they tracked him down and killed him the same way he did to people. Like, they're all about that poetic justice shit down there, man.
Yeah, that's why they don't break the law down here.
Motherfucking storytellers on a dangerous level.
That's why I'm a poof that draws. Look at me. And
when you're making murder an art form, you got some fucking crazy shit going on.
Yeah, dude.
It's wacky, but yeah, that stuff always like fascinated me. Actually, Kevin's dad speaks fluent Spanish. I think he's like first generation Mexican, and he helped me early on translate a bunch of that stuff. Like I think it's like Mandula del Diablo, something like that.
Mandula del Diablo,
yeah, it's like the Spanish translation for it. He did a bunch of translate. It's got a really dark ending and everything. It was one of those ones where I sort of came up with the ending for it and worked in reverse. And that weird Vice story set it off a couple of years back when it first came out, and then I just like really dove into researching it as much as I could. Then stuff like Sicario started coming out and shit like that. Which by the time that came out, that was covering stuff from like Juarez in like the early 2000s.
Yeah,
pulling from that. It was like old news. If you're aware of like everything going on down there, like by the time people were like, I think people were even kind of mad. They were like, what the fuck? This is like 20 years old. This is doing a Desert Storm movie and trying to say that it's still going on. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's completely different now.
Yeah, like, and they've definitely gotten way more brazen and way bigger since then. So it was like, oh yeah, like this is kind of showing like when we started getting militarized down there, but it was already at that point already way more wild than what they were showing in Sicario. Sicario's like a cute fantasy idea, and I love Denis Villeneuve. That's like one of my favorite of his. But
but Spencer, check out the Avocado Wars.
Okay,
it's a documentary on how the cartels saw that everybody ate avocados. So they went to the avocado growing region of Mexico and started like killing the farmers to control of it.
Yeah, we were talking about that kind of stuff before we were live earlier.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, that would give you like a nice like view of their mentality today.
Yeah, everything starts with some sort of power struggle somewhere.
Okay,
Sorry,
guys,
I'm just feeling sick.
Oh, you're good. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Actually, we've been going for 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Spencer, Kayla. Thank you, both of you, so much for coming to hang out with us.
Yeah, dude.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Anytime, Ginge.
Is there any last minute stuff you want to pimp out there? I know we all got the Patreon.
Yeah, go check out Death Curse over on YouTube. If you like our madness over there, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/deathcurse. Anything you donate over there just goes back into all the crazy shit we're doing over here.
I have Don Chin on this week on the 15th at 8 p.m.
Nice.
So Kayla Cuts
Don
Deep.
Chin is a solid dude, man.
Yes,
I'm supposed to be doing something with Ginge too. I am.
Yes.
Supposed to be
Kayla's
hosting a panel for Ginge.
a lot of awesome interviews lined up this month and going into next month. We'll hopefully be doing some stuff for October. I want to do some sort of like Inktober kind of thing. Probably not every day, but we'll be figuring it out over the next week or so.
You'll be competing with Freya though, so
it's no competition.
Okay.
I love Frege.
Yeah.
I'll probably be participating in that too. That's why I was like, I'm feeling it out right now, but it's probably going to be like 2 days a week. I'll probably do the opposite of whatever he does. I'm not trying to compete. Frege's a close friend. I text him regularly just to ask him questions and harass him about an inevitable crossover. But he was
how I met him.
he was one of the first pros to like actually treat me like just a regular human being, and I'm lucky enough now to consider him a friend. But Frege's great, and it's no competition there. He will always stomp me in the art department, though I'm the better writer.
There you go.
So we'll be getting down on something like that. But if you subscribe to Death Curse, you can't miss out on it. If you hit the bell, you won't miss out on any of it unless YouTube doesn't want you to see us. But we're around. And read Alterna Comics, all of them.
Yeah.
Doesn't even need to be mine. There's great books. If you like turbo violent superhero stuff, check out Voidwalker and Can't Kill Cade.
Pedro with the plug.
And thanks again for having us on, guys. This was awesome.
Yep. All right, y'all. We'll catch you later.